reputation. What is so special about the Toyota AE86 Corolla? It's fetching nearly 50 grand in an auction 40 years later. This is the video you need to watch if you want to find out why this is such a cult classic and what's so special about it. I've got a fully restored AE86 Corolla here in UK Spec and I can't wait to show you around it. This is a 5th generation Toyota Corolla, better known by its chassis code AE86, or as it's known in Japan, Hachi Roku, or 86. This car is famous for things that you would not expect just by looking at it. It looks like an 80s family coupe, doesn't it? That's because it is. It's got this sloping coupe roofline, 14-inch little alloys, modest spoiler, and fixed halogen headlamps. This one is a UK spec AE86, and we only got one type of AE86 here in the UK, this being it. It's known in Japan as a Levin. It's not much to look at, is it? I wonder if it gets any better inside. I definitely feel like I've gone back to the 80s, which does mirror how it looks outside, but it is pretty cool. Got these lovely sports seats. If you look at them, they're quite funky actually. This lovely thin steering wheel. Behind it, you've got your old analog dials. You've got a digital clock here. Nice bit of the future. Down here, you've got a tape player. That takes me back. I mean, it looks great. There's a lot of lovely touches going on, but I'm sure in the 80s this wasn't, you know, that amazing. It's not any more amazing inside as it is outside. I think that it looks exactly like a car that was for families in the 80s would look when you're paying around 9 grand. But that is the thing, you can't get them for 9 grand anymore. But the interior and the way it looks is not what made the AE86 such a legend. It was what you couldn't see that made this one of the most important cars in the history of Toyota. In the 1970s, car manufacturers had started to ditch the rear-wheel drive setup in favour of front-wheel drive. Toyota had tried it out with a car called the Tercel in 1978, but the rest of their cars remained rear-wheel drive. Their chief design engineer, Fumio Agitsuma, wanted to change that, and he wanted to start with Toyota's bread and butter, the Corolla. He believes that front-wheel drive was the way to go. It was more stable at high speeds, and it meant that he could do more with the interior design layout, but it was going to be difficult, and it was a massive risk. Why? Because it was going to cost them a lot of money to do. Also, most drivers still weren't sold on front-wheel drive cars. They were used to rear-wheel drive. It was going to be really complex to engineer. This was going to be a big task. Now, this guy must have been persuasive, because in 1980, the Toyota board backed him to make the Corolla front-wheel drive, and that is how the AE86 was born. Many people underestimated Agitsuma's 123 bhp Corolla. That was a mouthful. But one man didn't. One man saw its true potential and made this car the icon that it is today. That man was Keiichi Tsuchiya, known as the Drift King. Keiichi and Initial D are the reason why the AE86 is synonymous with drift culture. It played a key part in the sport's history. AE86 had key roles in other motorsports too. It won races in the British and the World Touring Car Championships. Its rich motorsport history is the reason that this car is such a sought-after icon today. So sought after that you're going to really struggle to find one for sale. And if you do find one for sale, it's been modified and has probably got really high mileage. Those gems that are, low mileage and really well looked after are going to cost you a fortune if you can find one. So I'm interested to know if this really does live up to the legend. And I've got one here in the metal now, so I'm going to drive it. No pressure, 86. Sounds good. This has got the Jan Speed modified exhaust, I believe. A few tasteful mods, basically, that the previous owner did. But I'd imagine it still sounds pretty good from stock. And we're off. Got no power steering. This was the 80s. It sounds good. Everyone's staring at it. And I don't blame them, to be honest, because it's an absolute unicorn. You never see these. Before this, I'd never seen an AE86 on the road, ever. Or even in the metal, even at a car show, I'd never seen one. Right, it's a 60 now. Let's see what it can do. Okay, 4,000 RPM. Woof! Can you hear that? Beautiful. We're well on its tail. Now this car is not about straight line speed. Lots of things were faster than it. For example, the Nissan Skyline. It was the limited slip differential that really gave it the edge. And the fact that the car's so well balanced, the way it takes corners. Woo! Oh yeah, it's beautiful. Honestly, I've got to say this, I'm not just saying it because it's like the 40th year anniversary I'm doing this review. This is honestly the best driving experience next to a racing car that I've ever had in my life. It's such a special car, like I've got goosebumps. It doesn't look that special. It's, you know, it's not that good to look at, let's be honest. I'd much prefer the Toyota version with the pop-up lights. But it's just the way it feels, everything. It's just, it's just raw driving experience. And it's not like flat out scare yourself speed. It's just fun. It feels fun. It just feels like it's you in the car. Oh, so does the AE86 Corolla live up to its reputation? Absolutely yes. Oh, goosebumps. But that's just what I think. What do you think to the Toyota AE86 Corolla? Are you a little bit more enamoured with it? I know I was. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.